Miss Shirley Clark, portrait of Jason, roll one, sound one.
Okay, roll it.
Sound rolling. Camera rolling.
Okay, Jason, go.
My name is Jason Holliday. My name is Jason Holliday. My name is Aaron Payne.
What do you mean, Aaron Payne?
Aaron Payne. That was my given name. And in San Francisco, I got hung up with a group of people that were under the influence of Sabu. He was changing people's names to suit their personalities. And I changed my name. Jason Holliday was created in San Francisco. And San Francisco is a place to be created, believe me.
Did you like the name Aaron Payne?
As Aaron Payne, I was pretty far further than I am now, but I was, oh well, it had unpleasant memories that lead to the state of depression. And I just thought people in San Francisco who personalities were suiting their names, myself another name and give myself another chance, I'd be happier. And I dug being called Jason, and like all my hip friends and the people that I knew, I told them my name is Jason now. And they call me that, but a few evil people, you know, every now and then they'll call you Aaron. And I remember once in San Francisco, I told Miles Davis, I said, my name is Jason. And Miles said, shit, that ain't none of your name. But he was hip enough to call me Jason. He hasn't called me Aaron since. And as Jason, I really have discovered a new personality. I'm a lazy cat. I've always wanted to really jump into it, but I kept avoiding it somehow. Like I made an excuse for accepting other people's problems and putting down my own. And I always became this one or that one's flunky or anything to do to keep from facing what I really wanted to do. And now I kind of like want to do it. And Jason sort of is giving me the strength to do it. Like I came back to New York after being away for 3, 4, 5 years. And some old friends that you don't even see anymore, and the new ones are the ones that you keep. I told them my name was Jason. And I was able to establish that. I got the Social Security card, Jason Holliday. I have a cabaret license. Believe me, there's something to the name. You know, if the name rings a bell to you and makes you feel well, then take the name.
What do you do for a living, Jason?
I hustle. I'm a stone whore. And I'm not ashamed of it. Like, I have a friend in this town who's a school teacher who doesn't teach in the public school system, but she goes from house to house teaching kids that can't go to school. And one day on the street, she said something to me very hip. She said, Jason, everyone in New York has a gimmick, and mine is teaching school. So I found out that mine was hustling. Now, I have more than one hustle. I'll come on as a maid or a butler or a flunky, anything to keep from punching the clock from 9 to 5, because every time I've punched that clock from 9 to 5, it's been a job that's been such a drag that makes you sick. And what I really want to do is what I'm doing now, is perform. And you get hung up. I'm scared of responsibility. I'm scared of myself because I'm a pretty frightening cat, you know. People that know me will tell you that. But, like, I don't mean any harm, but the harm is done, you know. Like, a friend of mine says if there's a way of fouling it up, you'll find a way. And yet I'm trying all the time to get in there and pitch. And so now I think that I'm just gonna force myself. I'm making a scene now at Bellevue with 2 head shrinkers, psychiatrists, and these are cats that get into your business, you know. And then you got to be hip enough for just how much of your business you want to let them get into. So you go and get yourself together, and you go there and you turn them on. This other cat, one doctor the past couple of weeks just keeps harping on sex. Well, sex is the thing I'm trying to forget because I've spent so much of my life being sexy, as you can see, that I haven't gotten anything else done. You dig? I've been balling from Maine to Mexico. I haven't got $1 to show for it, but I had a swell time, you understand? But then it comes a point in your life where you got to say, all right, okay, you know sex has got to go. Cool it. A very prominent jazz musician girlfriend of mine told me she went 3 years, you know, without touching anybody. You got to get interested in bread. Bread is money, and if you keep balling your life away, there's no money involved. Next thing you know, you're skinny and narrow, and ain't nothing happening. And then, like a friend of mine said, I spent 8 years being a lover, and now I want to learn how to play my bass. Understand, huh? That's been the story of my life. So now I am, you know, like pleasing myself, you know. I think about where I've been and how groovy it's been, and like no more too much carrying on. Maybe like on special occasions like Valentine's Day and Christmas and your birthday, you know, and a full moon Saturday night, you know. But other than that, you can't let it be a hang-up. Hang-up. That's the story of people's life. That's the reason you don't get anything done. You're hung up, you know, and everybody wants what isn't good for them or what the grass is always greener, you know. And me, I guess I'm a male bitch, you know, because I go out of my way to unglue people, you know. The ones that I think that have tendencies that might make it or fake it. Oh, I come on to them strong.
Okay, cut.
I cut already. Rolling.
Would you give me a drink, please? Would you give me a drink, please? Thank you. Wow. You know, sometimes when you get uptight, you have to have a way to really function, you know, when you don't want to go and punch a clock from 9 to 5. You have to have some kind of gimmick, something that you do. And I got hung up being a houseboy. And I have enjoyed it quite a bit. I've worked for a lot of fabulous people, which they think it's a joke. I didn't know one thing from the other from being a houseboy. I got a book from the library, and I found out, you know, how much wrong can you do, you know, and I can cook a little bit, and I can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And once you get involved with people that, you know, that after they get to dig you, you know, you can cover up for a lot of things that you don't do. They'll tolerate for the satisfaction. That's a little extra you give them. And I was working in San Francisco for a very rich woman up on Nob Hill who was a riot. This woman was a camp. And she had an alcoholic husband. She had one husband she had buried. And this other one, he was on his way to the loony bin from too much booze, from trying to get away from her. And they'd shipped him off to some nut house out in Berkeley. And I used to go over there every weekend and take his laundry. And he'd give me $20 or so, and he'd always say to me, "How is that woman?" And I'd say, "Well, you know, she's trying." And he said, "Yes, she always gets everything so confused." And I found out amongst the rich, when you say they're confused, that's a terrible insult. That's a nice way of saying that they're crazy. And I'd get back and she'd say to me, "Did he give you any money?" And I'd say, "Yes, he did." And she'd say, "Well, what was he saying?" I said, "Well, he asked me how you were and how things were going, and he seems to think that you got things confused." She says, "Confused? I'll confuse him. Confuse him." And then the pills would start going, you know, and I had to sing going with her. I used to tiptoe around backwards and help her this and that. But when I gave her a pill every day at lunchtime at 1 o'clock, knocked her out. She'd sleep till 4, and they had a Hungarian shepherd, a Puli. Dog and I would go down to, I call it Neurotic Park, but in San Francisco they call it Aquatic Park. But there's nothing down there but a bunch of neurotics like the Italians all on one end, the faggots all on another end, the muscle men all on the other end, and the dope fiends all in the middle. That's where I was. In the middle. And I went on from there, you know. And I've had different houseboy jobs where you have to, they think that, well, they want to have a lot of fun with you, you know. Like one woman, a rich woman, said to her friend one day, she says, I would like to get rid of all the servants I have and get a nice one like Jason. She said, how lucky you are, Bernice, to have such a handsome young man to wait on you, you know. And I'm bowing and scraping. But she hipped me to something I didn't know that maids and houseboys and people do. She says, you know, she said, I got to tell you about you people. And she meant colored, I'm sure. And she'd say, you know what them maids do? She said, I never have another maid. She said, you buy 5 cans of lobster, you see 3. So I didn't know, you know, so that's why I always carry around a little bag, you know. So when you go home, she said, every time you look up, they got something in their stash, you know. So she said, you get 6 cans of soup, 4 turn up in the cupboard. They got 1 going out the door with it. She said, they think you don't know these things, you know. Oh, she was a riot. I'll never tell.
Hey, Jason. Tell that cop story.
Okay. Life's full of consequences.
Do the I'll never tell bit.
You know, I never told you about the time I spent a little vacation in Ratcus Island. And while I was there, I met a lot of fabulous people. There was one particular friend of mine in the block. She was a drag queen. And she called herself Kitty Cunt. And the guards used to say, who are you? She'd say, I'm Miss Cunt. I'm the cunt woman. And there was other fabulous characters there like Louise Beavers and Kay Francis. I never got into that name bag. I used to ask you, you know, what's your stage name? Girl. Girl. So one day we were on 14th Street where Miss Cunt used to work. And she and Mr. Beavers and a couple of children stand on the corner. And I'm usually so grand, you know, like when I see these people, I love them, you know, you can keep them in close corners from 14th Street and 3rd Avenue. But what can I do? So I bump into, and so Miss Cunt got a few things that she's snatched out of Klein's, and Miss Beavers is trying to help her get rid of them. And they're finger popping and kind on in the street, and I don't believe my eyes, you know. It's nowhere near Christmas, you know. So it's popping and so. The cop said to one of them, to Beaver, says, why do you girls always do this? And she said, I'll never tell.
Right.
Yes, I think as a houseboy, I really suffered. Da-da-da-da. But this all hasn't been a waste because these people are fascinating, you know. I mean, they think you're just a dumb, stupid little colored boy. You're trying to get a few dollars, and they're going to use you as a joke. And it gets to be a joke sometimes as to who's using who, you know. So I figure as long as they pay enough, you know, whatever they say do, I'll do. But some of them are pretty ridiculous. Like I worked for one once, a tall, lanky, sad-looking blonde from Alabama. And all she claimed that her father had been head of city stores or something like that. And she had a southern accent, and she was being kept by a very nice cat who owned a big business downtown. And she'd enter the room. This woman was so crazy. She had a dress with lampshades made like the dress and draperies, and it was plaid taffeta. And it was a one-room apartment on East 64th Street. And she was always dashing madly, you know. And I'd be in the house doing nothing, you know, like sitting on my behind, reading the magazine, or eating up all the lobster, eating up all the snails. And the minute I hear her coming, I'd get busy. And she'd enter and say, Jason, has Edgar been here? Fix me some of my chicken. They always want chicken, you know, because they know all colored folks know how to fix chicken. I'll be in the kitchen frying my ass off, you know. Yes, Miss Howard. She hadn't been married in 20 years. We're still calling her Mrs., you know. And this man is like, boom, boom, boom. So then one day she said to me, Jason, she said, we're going to have a little party. And I was in the kitchen doing all the work, and I said, oh, no. I said, Miss Howard, I don't want to come out and talk with the guests. You always say that, you know. But you know, you probably got all the guests' phone numbers. You tell them, no, you don't want to really mix, because, you know, you're there at work. Oh, they say, come on out. She said, well, it's Halloween. She said, you won't hurt anything. She said, you'll be just another spook. You know, I looked at Miss Spitz and I smiled. I said, yes, I'll be right out. And I came out, and I had my drink, you know. Then you take your humble position back again. And then one of them said to me once, you know, she said, Jason, I never really much liked niggers, you know, and you're the first one I ever really cared for. And I said, oh, that's very sweet of you. I said, well, then I should have this position a long time. Oh, and I go back in the kitchen. I said, well, she dropped dead. You know? And then the next minute, how, Jason, you put on your white coat and away you go, you know. And, oh, they're very nice to you Christmas time. They just take everything they give you. Everything they give you, just take it. And they have a thing going. Yeah, there's a lot of material there. And I'll give you some more of it a little later. Whew, I've got to tell.
Okay, bring him in.
Coming in.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, there's lots of material. There's lots of material. I was fortunate enough once to work for a very nice Negro lady who's a jazz singer, and she's kind of beautiful. And she and I have been friends for a long, long time, and on the road someplace, a maid quit, and there I was, jumping into that maid bag again. She bailed me out of town, shipped me to New York, and then she arrived later. Well, we went through some very funny scenes. I was a nervous wreck. I don't know what from, but I was just nervous being back in New York. Every time I heard her coming, I used to run in the bathroom. She'd go this way, I'd go the other way. So one day, I took my pills early in the morning, you know, my Sparko Plenty pills, as some old white lady I used to work for called them. She said, Jason, you want a Sparko Plenty? So I used to keep me a little stash of Sparko Plenties. So I used to take my pill, and I took it early this morning, and Carmen, I got out in the house, and I forgot myself. I cleaned the whole house. You know how some of them pills can make you work. I scrubbed, and I washed, and I did everything. So Carmen came in, and she dug the house, you know. Everything was... She said, oh, you didn't have to pee all day today. God damn, she said, you got something done. So, another day, I was dusting, and I'm a very nervous duster. Don't ever give me anything of value that you cherish to dust, because I will break it. Some things I broke on purpose. Some things were accidents. So I dusting the china closet out in the hall one day. There's a gorgeous vase on there. And I'm dusting this way and looking out the window. All of a sudden, boom! Carmen said, wouldn't you know it? Now, that thing's been up there 3 years. You have to come along in 2 weeks, and it's on the floor. She said, you know, Jason, she said, I don't think you can see too well. I had bifocals. Everybody kids me. She said, with them sunglasses. So I used to work in sunglasses. That was so they couldn't see what I was thinking, you know. She said, you take them damn Coca-Cola bottles off, and you get just some clear glasses, and you clean this house, or I'm going to throw you out the window. And then I got hysterical and laughed. Well, don't ever laugh at anybody when they're mad, especially when you're working for them. But I lost my head, you know. And when I got hysterical, she was to boot me out the door. I packed up my things. I said, look, I've had enough. I'm getting out of here. I can't stand no more. And I'm quite a time. I'm in tears because I'm a great cry. I'm weeping. I got to the door, Carmen said, oh, Jason, she says, come on back in the house and don't cry. And she has an album that she made, and I think she's really thinking about me when she sings that song. She sings, come on back in the house and don't cry. Oh, like, maybe being a houseboy isn't a drag too much. But doing all these things, in the back of my mind, I've been telling people so long that I'm going on the stage. It's gotten to be such a joke. Some people say, what stage? A stage of confusion. A piano player friend of mine says, where you going? You're crazier. But I've been told, and I do believe it, that I have a lot of talent. But it's nice in the kitchen, and it's nice in the bedroom, and it's nice in the living room, And it's nice at the end of the day to walk away with a few coins that you have had fun earning. As I say, my motto is, find out what you need to get through a day, make some provisions for getting it, and don't bug anybody, and you can go along a long ways that way. But I am working on the nightclub act, seriously. I'm working with a very fine piano player, very talented guy. And after all these years of living, like a piano player friend of mine told me years ago, he says, when you sing a song or you do a bit, it has to be about something. You have to do it from experience. He said, if you haven't had any experiences, to get out and get some, well, if I'd have been a ranch, they'd have named me the Bar None. Because I've been getting experience, coming and going. Now, I broke it down to the nightclub bit, where there's three things, like, I've heard all the years you're supposed to be saying something. What's this one saying? What's that one saying? Well, some of the female chicks, I know all they're saying is, look what you could get if you was lucky. Some cats are saying, look how strong I am. Some of them are saying, look how cute I am. Well, a friend of mine told me, the fact that you're up there on the stage, you don't have to get cute, because that makes you cute already. And he also says, give me some money, and then you can watch me act funny. So the three things I want to tell is like, I want to start off like a real swinging hip cat that's been around. And I'm just going to let my modesty blaze, turban, tux, umbrella, the whole bit. Dance, sing, go crazy. And then from that, I'm going to go for a few minutes into a bitchy bag, like the maid that I've been that sees herself on the stage, or the houseboy, or what have you, and then I thought I'd end up as a clown, and all clowns are happy and sad. So I figured if you can sell sex, comedy, and a little tragedy, people love to see you suffer. Oh, you believe me, I've suffered. Oh, I've suffered extensively. And in my suffering, like, it's always a torch song, I guess. And in my nightclub act, after I get through being this hip little wild fly-out chic, I become this, just this girl who wants to be herself, And it's always something like, Funny Girl is great. Good for an example, where he has taken all her money, the Fanny Bryce story, and she's in the dressing room getting herself together. And he's saying, I've already blown 65 grand of your bread. I can't take any more, Fanny. Please, let's part. And she says, I don't care about the money, John. Stay with me. And he says, no, Fanny, this is it. I must go. And then the curtain goes up, and it says, and now the Ziegfeld Follies presents Funny Girl. And out she comes, worrying about this man. I know he's around when the sky and the ground start in ringing. I'll know that he's near from the thunder I hear in advance. His words alone are the words that will start my heart singing. And his is the only music that makes me dance. He'll sleep and he'll rise in the light of two eyes that adore him.
Okay.
How we doing?
Great.
Roll 2, mag 3, 70 feet left.
Okay, bring him in.
It's a funny feeling having a picture made about you. I mean, I think I really dig it, I feel sort of grand sitting here, you know, and carrying on. People are going to be digging you, you know, I'm going to be criticized, I'll be loved or hated or what have you. What difference does it make? I am doing what I want to do, and it's a nice feeling that somebody's taking a picture of it. This is a picture I can save forever. No matter how many more times I may goof or be ridiculous, I will have one beautiful something that's my own, you know, that I really, for once in my life, was together. And this is the result of it. And it is a nice feeling. Breathe. You know, money has always been a big hang-up with me. I've never really had any, but I've always managed to. I get enough to survive, and I guess I'm kind of ashamed of myself of the people that this nightclub act will bother me until the day I die, but I don't think it will that long because I'm going to do it. As I say, I've talked about it so long, and it was always the money. Several friends said to me, like, if you want to do anything badly enough, you don't need any money. But I always needed everything that went with it. And somehow it didn't seem like I thought I should work for it. And I'd go to friends, people, and get into my bag of sob, song, and sorrow. And I'm telling you, when I get pathetic, I'm one of the most pathetic things in the world. I mean, you can believe that. And people would, I guess, feel sorry for me. But at the time I was doing this thing, I really intended to do, you know, what I set out to do. But, I mean, when you don't get around to it for 10 years, you know, and you have to decide, you know, who are you bullshitting, you know? And then the people, it gets to a point where you go through so many people that you have to keep moving. I mean, you really get tired. And I find it's just as hard a work to keep pulling that as to stop and sit down and say to myself, now, you know, it ain't really that hard. Do you want to do it? So I just had a little scene going with a doctor. Well, I don't know how in the hell I talked him in. He co-signed for me for a bank loan for money for this same fucking nightclub act. And, I mean, this time, I have gotten further than I've ever gotten before because although I didn't ball up all the money, half of the money I actually paid for the music, you know. It's the first thing I've ever done in advance in my life. And it's with a very groovy piano player, and I see him, and we get a little work done. So I figured one day this money thing coming from friends, I'm going to have to make a lot of money because I won't be able to face a lot of people, you know. And I'm sure when I got it, I hope they appear because I sure would like to lay some on them. And they don't want the money. Some people just want to see you make it, you know. And you just keep ranking yourself, you know, with good people who really dig you. And you see them 5 years from now, and they say, oh, you, yeah. I remember. What about that nightclub act? A nightclub act is something that my folks don't understand. I think my father has financed it so many times that all he says to me is like, you know, you better get out of my face. And I have the nerve to keep trying, you know. I used to figure, I really am trying to cool it now. I used to figure if they went for it once, if you wait long enough, you know, and go back again, they get some kind of thing that said that you had the nerve to come back again. You know, they figure, well, he can't be all bad, you know. So, boom, they take another chance. Again, no nightclub act. And then I guess that thing of conscience starts to bother you. A couple of head shrinkers been bothering me, too, lately. But I think now I'm bothering them. I didn't show up the other day, and I've gotten 6 calls.
Jason,
Turn
sit on the
to-
floor against the chair there.
I want you to smile. You're so pretty. It really does. I dig it. I really do. You know, like it's a thrill. Eee.
Okay, Jason, we can start.
As I say, getting ready for the nightclubs, you gotta be. Girlfriend of mine, a singer, said, get everything going for you. I've been going to the medical doctor, go to the head shrinker. I've been so many clinics, it ain't even funny. And these head shrinkers, they're very interesting guys. You never know what they're going to talk about. Sometimes they let you talk. I know it's not hip for them to tell you what you say, but I guess it's all right if I tell you a couple of things they said. They keep wanting to know, like, who you sleep with. And someone asked me, what do you do? And do you do them? And how large is it? And I said, and then going on to the next subject, and do they say you're good? Who says you're good? Do they all say it? Do you think you got a nice body? I said, yes. He says, well, how big is it? I said, well, I never, you know, well, they say it's 9 inches, 8, I don't know. He says, well, do you think that's a large one? I said, well, I don't know, you know, it's good enough. So he says, do you please them? I said, if I don't please them, because I'm not trying. And I don't know what he said, you know, then the other one interrupted, and he said, well, how often do you do that? I said, every day. Well, I used to. I said, that was the old me. You know, I said, like some people like museums, and they spend all day looking at pictures. I spend all day looking at people. It's the same form of art, really. It's just a little more strenuous. But I mean, and these cats, you know, one little young, fat, chubby one, the other one looks like you untouchable. I told him the other day, I said, I think you're a cop, you know. I said, I've been busted, you know, by you cats. Well, I'm through with this little fellow. It served its purpose. I know those doctors really don't. I feel I'm doing the right thing by copping out to them. But you never can tell. I figure I get suspicious, you know. They got 2 of them in the room. One of them could be a cop. And then this screwy doctor of mine tells me some story about don't tell them the truth. He says, you're a colored boy. You're in there with 2 enemies, telling them all about your life. He says, don't tell them everything. You can be sued. So I told them that. And they said, is that what you've been doing? And I said, no, I've been telling you the truth. I said, but what's one of you cats, you know, that look like you, one of them little Ivy League-looking blue-eyed boys with the blazer jacket, you know? And I was out of my mind and into another bag, and I'm sashaying up 6th Avenue from 52nd Street, and the little boy in blue, he was followed me. You know, I looked at him a couple of times. I was drunk, but I said, no, you never can tell, you know. So, and this cat insists, you know, he should have been busted. And I goofed. Yes, I did. And he took out his little badge, you know. Well, I put him through some changes. And I started telling him about that, you know. And like Oh, I flipped out to the nut house. They put me in a jail cell, and I just screamed and carried on like it was New Year's Eve. And I took my eyeglasses and hit them against the cell and sawed my wrist, and then I screamed all night. So they took me to Bellevue. When that cop came back the next morning, he looked at me, he said, "You told me you were crazy." I tried to warn him. But anyway, so, you know, I've been, you know, kind of leery of you cats ever since. But if you're a cop, you know, what can you do me? Oh, boy, oh, boy. And this drinking, I'm telling you something. When you drink, you better learn how to handle it. I went through some changes in my life where I don't know what the fuck was happening, but I was getting so drunk. I mean, so drunk that I couldn't get home. On my way home, I'd find myself on my knees, you know. And then I'm on my knees on the street, you know, me, you know, as grand as I am. And I get, Jesus Christ. And I mean, like, it's an effort to get up, you know. And you get up, and you start to walk, and you feel you're going to make it. And the next thing you know, you're on your knees again. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, if I ever do get up, you know, like, and you fall back down again, and it's wet. You start, oh, my goodness. And then you finally, you know, start walking. You make it home. You know, and you say, oh, Lord, if I ever do get together, I'll never get that drunk again, you know. Boy, you don't do that no more. Phew, what a trip.
Hey, Jace, do one of your nightclub bits.
Okay. Hey, man, throw me that bag. Hey, now, in this bag, I have some very groovy props. These are props. You know, all actors have props. This particular prop was given to me by a very nice young lady who is the waitress in a restaurant we eat in on 8th Avenue, 22nd Street. And this is what you call a picture hat. Now, a picture hat is something that's worn by a lady. And my favorite lady from Hollywood was Miss Mae West. And Mae was like, you know, a way out chick, you know. I think she's really a female faggot, but she's cool. And I'd like to give you a few lines of Mae's from some of her, you know, more famous productions. I remember once she said to Victor McLagan, she says, you may not be no oil painting, but you're a fascinating monster. So she was in a show called Diamond Lil, and they did a nude of her with a little piece of chemise over her body. So she said, say, Jim, did my painting come back? He said, yes, Lil, it's in there. She said, well, I'd like to take a look at it. I want to see if they got all my details in place. So she looks at the picture, and there she is, gorgeous. So she says, say, Jim, where are you going to put that picture? He said, oh, I don't know, Lil. We're going to hang it up around here someplace. She said, hang it any place you like, as long as you don't hang it over the free lunch counter. Oh, yeah, Sylvia Sims said to her, says, Lil, I'm going right down to Macy's and get you that watch. She said, get me no watches, baby. I'll have nothing to do with time. She had a nice, big, brown, dark-skinned maid named Beulah. She was laying back in her bedroom one day, and she said, Beulah, peel me a grape. She told W.C. Fields in the flick one night, she says, after the honeymoon, she puts a goat in the bed. She says, now you just lay there, lammy boy. Everything is going to be all right, as long as you keep your mouth shut. Fields is in the tub going, oh, my, hurry, little fella, isn't it? She's up on the hill meeting some cat. He jumps off a horse bandit style, gives her a pot of gold, big kiss, jumps on the horse, splits. She stands there daggling the bag of gold, and she says, farewell, my quickest one.
Right?
Whee. Lovely hat. Nobody can wear these big hats except May and me. Wow. Ooh, my grandmother could see me now. Guess who? Scarlett O'Hara. Tara. Tara, what's happened to Tara? No food. Oh, where's my witness? I shall never be hungry again. Miss Melanie had her baby today. 'Cause it was me that hoped to bring it. It was mostly me. It was a little baby girl, yeah. Yes, but these, Mr. Butler, Miss Melanie said for you to come out here and talk to me. 'Cause you've got to get us a carriage and we got to go up to Atlanta. 'Cause the Yankees is coming. And Mr. Butler, I'm scared. Oh, there was other good things to take material from, like Carmen Jones is a favorite thing of mine. And I'm sure you all dig Carmen Jones. Here we go. Carmen was a real swinging chick that upset a cigarette factory, and the soldier went AWOL, and everything she touched just sizzled. And it was a bit where he deserts the army and he runs away at this country club. Cindy Lou comes to town to tell him that his ma is dying. He says, Carmen, you're coming with me. Says, you better go on back to your ma, boy. And here's that little 10-cent store ring you give me. Now, she says, I got a seat in the box office to see Husky Miller fight. I'll see you later, boy. He says, you bitch. You ain't ever gonna do that to no man again. You give me love and then you kill us before my very eyes. She says, kill me then or let me be. Hunger, I said. Oh, Joe falls on his knees and says, string me high to a tree so that soon I will be with my Carmen. And of course, Pearl Bailey was in that show, keeping everything going. She was talking about beating out some rhythm on the drums, huh? You can beat out that rhythm of the drum, and the drum will beat. Oh, Lord, give it a good hot lick, and you can beat out that rhythm. Beat it out, yeah.
What else you got?
Do one that makes you cry.
Yeah, I got to cry. I have to do the end. Hello, Mother. Hello, Dad. The calla lilies are in bloom again. Such a strange flower. I carried them on my wedding day, and now I place them here in memory of something that's died. You know, one should really pay attention when one says goodbye, 'cause one might be saying farewell. No. I don't know how the rest of the world feels at this moment.
Tell us about the scene, man. Shit, it's like the scene from Tennessee Williams.
This scene,
Yeah.
Tennessee Williams, you know, just couldn't have done me any more justice. I mean, this is my moment, you know. I'm here, like, on the throne, you know. And I can say whatever I goddamn please, but it's got to be righteous, you know. Oh, this is my chance to really feel myself and say, yeah, I'm the bitch. Believe it, you know. You amateur cunts, take notice. I'm the bitch.
Scott.
Love, I've been in love. Let me tell you about some of the people I've loved. I've been in love once, many times, you know. I can fall in and out of love as fast as you can turn on the electric lights. But when I do it, I'm not jiving. I'm serious, you know. I can be hurt in a second. And I can make you feel that you're the most desirable human being that ever walked this earth in that same second. I mean, it's just something about me. I have a way with, you know, like getting my shit across. And when I'm serious, I come up with some pretty groovy results. Like, any mother grabber you can talk into doing what you want him to do. He ain't no mother grabber at all, but you figured, all right, let's play with this turkey, you know. Have a little fun. That's like your one on the house. How you run it down to him? Well, you promise him everything. You got a gift to give. How do you run it down to him? He fears that you're big money. You're dressed in flashy. You got a camera. You got all the artificial bullshit that the white queens have, you know. But on a spade to them, it looks good because their minds are limited and narrow, you know. So right away, they think, oh, shit, they're into something, you know. And all you're trying to do really is beat them for their frame, you know, and you're going to do that. You know, I usually do. And they get so hung up in what they're going to get that all they get is balls, you know, and I just walk away and say, ha-ha, but that's dangerous again, too, because some of them get revengeful, you know, and they feel they've been had. They come looking for you. They kick your ass, so you have to lie fast and move fast. And if you can always out-talk them, you know, once they get you in a nervous spot, you just get nervouser than they are, you know. Nobody really wants to take the rap, but this keeps you on your toes. They're pretty frightening people. And you keep saying, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore, you know, no more. And then one day you go into a bar and you're looking, you're out of your mind, and there's one that looks like, yeah, shit, here I go again, you know. So you're right up in his nose, like putting your change on the bar, playing the jukebox, anything to get attention, singing the songs. You are there, you know, for the reason. And if he's got any brain at all, he's got to sense something, you know. This is his score for the day. So there you score another idiot. And you end up with a problem like you don't know whether you're going to get killed or you're going to get either. And you take them on trips. Oh, I got guts. I try all kinds of little games. Poppers in their nose and fingers up their ass. Heads in water. Golden showers. No, for God's sake. Anything. Nothing is too far out to do, you know. I'm just bona fide Freaksville, you know. Whatever you say. Have you ever done that before? Yes. Oh, that's an old one. And let's say, you know, what else is new? And you just keep on going through these changes. I got hung up with one once that had 22 bloody mirrors in the place. And everywhere you looked, you could see your ass, you know, coming at you. Ooh, such an orgy. How crazy can you be? But, man, you don't blow any shots, you know. If you're desperate as I am, you pull them all. And this is what I got busted for. Oh, my God. It's such a scandal. And I didn't feel a thing, you know.
Party.
Oh, party. Sometimes I get bored, and I think the nicest place to party is in the male whorehouse, and the Turkish baths are good for that. And as you know, I'm an experimental queen. I'll experiment with anything one time. I take a box of poppers in there, and I'm in the steam room. Get everybody into a scene. Oh, the cats are swinging, they're reaching across the rafters, and the place is smoking, and I'm popping these idiotic little things all over the place. And everybody's having a ball, and I panicked. I said, something's burning. Joint's on fire. I said, something is burning. And it was me.
Okay, take a minute. Now what happened?
Out.
Okay.
Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-tea.
All right, ready to go on route?
Go away.
I go the way of all flesh. Now that's the truth. That's the truth, so help me God if I've ever told it. I'm a truth teller now, and there's not a lie in me. I think I'm losing my mind. But nevertheless, it's serving the purpose. I'm telling you, life is what you make it, you know. And some of these people out here making the same mistakes, you know. Now, they say, why get married? You know, well, some people dig it. But I am never going to get hung up on one of them boy-boy marriages, you know, like it's the TV dinner, and in Madison Avenue ones, they got all the latest Broadway show albums. They can quote you Carol Channing verbatim, you know. And they dress, and they're at every balcony and every theater in town. But they some pretty sick people.
Where do you go?
And I seem to have good taste, you know. I like to go into better places because I figure they're spending a little more, and they might be talking the same language. I go like east. The East 50s is groovy, you know. If you can't cop there, you know, if you're chic, you can't cop anywhere. All you have to do is just be patient, you know. And you get a lot of tired old strolling bachelors home, young waiters that don't work in the daytime, you know, looking for matinees. And it just all takes place like you can just buy a sandwich in the deli, you know. East 50s is kind of nice. Nice place to live. Of course, rent is high there, you know, and so that makes the clientele a little more refined. And I like that. And I find when the heat gets to you, it's one good escape from being gay. I was grabbed one time, they're gonna search you, you know. As soon as the cop touched me, I went, oh, office. And I was cool, you know. I tipped away with my thing, you know, and like, I found out not to hang around there anymore. But that's a good thing. Sometimes it saves you, you know, it really can save you. Go into a thing. I've also found, like, I hang out with a lot of au faits and show business, you know, like I've been striving for that nightclub. And they're all very, very warm and nice for one reason. As long as the white boy finds out that you don't want to screw the white girl, then you kind of in, you know. So then you're just all one big gay family together, you know. As long as they think that you're more interested in the man than he is, than in the woman, then everything is cool. So you become nice then, you know, you're safe to have around. And Jesus Christ, some of them boys, they're worse than the girls, you know, and they're kind of mixed up, and wow. I don't know what's going to become of those people, but I've had enough of them. So,
Spade Queen.
oh, nothing grander. About Spade Queen. Oh, but you mind, I say a few words about Spade Queen. Uptown is where it's at. If you want to know what's shaking, you've got to go to the street where they got walk-in department stores. You don't have to go in department stores. Just grab a man on the corner and buy and follow some nice girl. Now, you can get confused up there because some of them that looking like girls, they ain't girls. I mean, they got some drag queens in Harlem that are together. I mean, they coming out and they got fur coats and collars and wigs for days. And I mean, they don't slouch down the avenue like no East Side maid. These broads tip, you know. They take over, you know. It's just the attitude is like, let's take the scene. And they take it. Cops are scratching their heads and people are saying, whee! They don't feel nothing, you know. They're stoned out of their minds and they're sharp and they know where they're going. And they refer to each other as Miss Thing. Miss Thing, you got a comb. She's like, I don't know what. Miss Thing, if you don't straighten up and come on now, you know where we got to be there. We said we were going to be there, honey. We'll be there. Going in the parlor and sit in the box and scream at Jackie Mom's Mabley, saying, Lord, what is it? Mom say, you know, Ma, that's Mom's children up there. Y'all a little funny, but you can't help it, you know. Somebody got to give you a break. And these are the girls. These are the girls in furs and feathers, and they all get a chance to walk across the stage, and they know how to walk. Now, some of them got bad feet, and these high heels is killing them, you dig it? And they walk like they're walking on eggshells. But they, you know.
When they get downtown.
Oh, when they get downtown, you see, where they want to carry on for the white folks. Oh, this is what happens when they get downtown. They always feel that they got to get prim and proper, and they tuck in their lips. And they say, how do you do? Oh, yeah. Chops is killing them, you know. They want to go, ah, so bad that they, It reminds me of a very funny story. A friend of mine, Miles Davis, working at the Vanguard. Philly Joe goes in with a blonde, passes right by Miles, doesn't speak. So somebody says, Philly Joe didn't speak to you, Miles? Miles said, well, shoot, it didn't mind so much he didn't speak. And I don't care so much he was blonde. Said, but the dude had his lips tucked in.
Jason, tell that story you told me about the old man in Frisco.
Sure, yeah. You know, sometimes you just sit back and you think about some of the things you've done. How ridiculous, how something, it was the hip thing to do at the time. Like when I was really making a scene with Cats Like for Bread, and you were always looking to give as less as you possibly could and get out with as much as you could. It's the only way to play the game. And I didn't have too much experience about where to go. And I met a friend, and he kind of hit me a little bit to what was happening. And I did something fantastic. This man took me way across the Golden Gate Bridge and moved me into a groovy, groovy place. And through the help of my nice little friend, this man used to take business trips. And the house was loaded with antiques and oh, shit that I didn't even understand. But my little friend knew what it was. And I soon learned. So he convinced me into getting a moving van, and we were going to disappear. And my little friend and I just unloaded this house like we were moving to another section of town. And we went in the Mission District and took the things and left the man's house with a note, you know, we will return or something silly nonsense like that. And poor old man had a heart attack. You know, I don't miss him at all.
Nice doggy.
I being, you know, the respectable type, I always was the most safe and like Y, or even a square Y for that matter, you know. Of course, the Ys and all those other nice holy organizations, they're so holy they got a policeman on every floor. If they hear two voices in the room, they'll kick the door down, you know. Then you gotta go through all this drag embarrassment of, you know, get out of town or move into the other end of the city. It's a drag. Happened to me once. I wasn't in one place, so I give myself an hour because I was anxious that day. 5 minutes, I got back to my room. There was a note on the desk. You may have a refund. I sat there and I felt so bad. I was so ashamed. I said, oh God, how could I have been so stupid? You know, like after working a whole year to get there, you know. I was there an hour. An hour. And I had to pack up all my shit and get out of there. And I'm out in Olive and 9th Street in Los Angeles with a damn suitcase and know where to go, but I said, I'll think of something. So I went and sat in a bus station. And one of them big, robust-looking construction worker type cats came along, and I got in his nose. And I talked this cat to death. Next thing I knew, I was in an old jalopy heading for North Hollywood. Me in North Hollywood. I said, oh, I must send some postcards. And so I went to North Hollywood with this child. That's what he was, an overgrown child, all muscle, no brain, white, blue-eyed, blonde, ridiculous, but gorgeous. So I had to see what I was going to do for a job. I had no job. It was a job looking after him, you know. And he worked for the telephone company. That was very exciting, you know. He wore the blue jeans and the boots, and every morning I was packing that lunch thing and sent him off to work. And I would just lie down in the sunshine and drink cheap wine and scotch. And I had a swell time. And I'd smoke. And I started to teach him to eat good colored food. Oh, Lord, he'd never had any chitlins. I tried to chitlins this motherfucker to death. I had him eating Creasy's salad. Oh, I had him eating, you know, and he was big as an ox, and I used to just knock me out, you know. I figured he was saying something, you know. He was a stone idiot. But he made $175 a week, and I wasn't working, you know. So we had a good time. I taught him how to shop. I'd buy food for the week, and I took out my little household allowance. During the day when he was at work, I'd go to my club, some Turkish band. And I'd always get home and have the dinner ready on time. Fine, after you train them cats, they get just like Soul Brothers. When they come home, they want the bed made and the dinner ready. And they're cool, you know, keep them a clean T-shirt and some khakis, and you got no problem. Found myself hung up in the web. I ran into another little thing in San Francisco. That's a hang-up town. I'll tell you about that town. It's like Father Flanagan would be out of place there, you know, because that's a boys' town. Girl there looking for a husband is in trouble. She might as well forget it. Forget it. And I love San Francisco. But the boys there sort of have an organization, and they're organized. And that's something that has to be in everybody's life. If you want to make it, you can't fake it. You want to take it, you got to get organized, you know. Get your buns together, you know. And I think it's about time now I picked up my gay buns and swished out of here. Ooh, I've got to tell.
Tell us about Big Tough. Oh, Tough, Daddy. Big Tough. What's he talking about?
Brother Tough.
Brother Tough.
You know, there's one thing about folks, they will give each other nicknames, you know. My father is a character of my family. He really is. His name, Brother Tough. When I was a little kid, people used to pass by the house and say, hey, Fanny, is old Tough home? And I have a brother who was groovy, nice, quiet cat. And my father's got muscles bulging for days, and he's a bad operator, you know, big-time gambler, bootlegger. And I'm out in the street skipping rope. Tough don't dig this, too tough. What can he do? I'm his. I'm a very sensitive, sweet child, you know. I mean, I want the better things in life. I don't want to be tough. But I'm Tough's son. Oh, and that got rough as time went on because, I just got into his eyesight of just making him sick, you know. Every time he looked at me, he didn't believe it, you know. He'd have to stop sometimes in his own nice little Alabama way and say, why you do that? You know? And he'd say, it just makes me want to knock your head off, you know. And I didn't have sense enough to get out of the way, and he'd give it a few gay knocks, you know. And I was always doing something to keep this man on my ass. You would have thought I dug it, you know, and I was really screaming to get out. But every day I managed to mess up. And Tough would come with that big razor strap and make me lay across the bed. And I love the base space. They tell you, lay down across the bed. Now they're going to whip you behind. And don't move. And don't holler. And they ain't going to tear up them clothes they bought you. You know, the pants is coming down. They're going to tear your natural ass. And if you jump too much, you know, you get a more punch. The more still you lie, you know, the less pain your tail will get applied. And, wow, I used to get it every day. My mother used to say to me, don't you get tired of him knocking you in the head every day for the same thing? Why don't you wise up, you know? So I said, okay, cool, you know. And then I got to the point where I got evil. If they said don't do it, I did it, you know. And I go someplace where I know I didn't belong, I stay there. They say, oh, you father's looking for you. When he see you, he's gonna kill you. I said, well, hell, if I'm gonna get killed, I might as well stay till it closes. You know, they can't beat me but once for the same thing, you know. I'd sit there till the house came down, you know. And I go home scared shitless, you know. No, I'm gonna get my behind torn up. But still, I'm evil, and I'm bitching all the way. Go in the house trembling, you know. And all of a sudden, the whole neighborhood hears, ah, shut up. And they say, that's Brother Tough tearing up Aaron's ass again.
How about time you stood up to him?
Oh, one day I lost my head. Tell him about the time I stood up to him. Oh, tell him about the time. Don't ever stand up to Tough. I lost my head one day. And he hit me, and I said, oh, enough of you. And I ran back, and my mother ran. She was so surprised. Hold him. No, my mother said, let him go. And I said, oh, no, let me go. Let me at him. Oh, let me get him. And my mother, oh, she's losing her mind. My mother said, I'll kill him. I'll kill him. He gets the gun out of the drawer. He's a button because my mother's screaming, gee! My mother says, get him out of here. Help me. I said, oh. There's rotten neighbors in the street are saying things like, why'd you pick up something and hit him in the head? Oh, Lord. What a childhood. But I'll never tell.
Tell us about the gambling.
Gambling for days. Oh, about the gambling. Oh, yes, they gamble. They made corn liquor, and they gamble. And have you ever drank any of that uncut cone? That's what I learned. It's a pot of cone. And speaking of pot of cone, somebody pour me a little cone right now. Thank you very much. Yeah, they used to pour the cone. The liquor would come out of the still dripping, boom-de-doom-de-doom. They'd get some bum to sit up there all night that been sitting up all night, you know, so he couldn't do nothing but sit up. I want to thank you, brother. Yeah, this will probably get it. Oh, they say one more drink and I'll tell it all. The corn used to come out of the still, I mean, out of there. I'd crawl on my knees, little boy, wait till the old man went to sleep and take that tube out and suck it in my chops. And I'd get so full of that uncut oil, on the floor. One of them would pick me up and put me back in my little bed. They'd be playing skin. Now, skin is a very hip game. I know Charlie ain't hip to skin, but I never did get all the understanding of skin. But I know they play it in a wooden box, and they throw the cards out, and it's cut, and the house man gets so much, and they do, and they be skinning for days. And, like, they love piles of money. So I get up to go to school in the morning, and they'd say, help yourself, you know. My father say, oh, he got plenty of cents. You know, there was 50-cent pieces them days. That was good. I always grabbed the biggest. I always had the biggest eyes, you know, like when I sat down to the table to eat. Oh, that was a funny bit. I don't know what was wrong with my eyes, as nearsighted as I was, but I could always see the largest chop, you know. And my father was just as evil as I was. I'd go, and he'd say, oh, put it back. Eyes bigger than his belly. I heard that all my life. Eyes bigger than your belly. I just love to eat, you know. And we had lots of funny scenes at home. Brother Tough. Brother Tough, that's a terrible name to go through life with. Oh, Oh, my goodness. He takes better care of himself than I do. He's got the nice, round, smooth baby face, big black eyebrows that look like he set them, you know. And he wears very dignified, rimless glasses. And his belly sticks out, but he holds it in, and he's hip enough to keep all his hair shaved off so the gray don't show, you know. And it's shining like a copper penny. And he wears the little shades over his eyes, and he sits there all night long playing coon can, you know. Cutting, getting up in the morning, taking his breakfast, cooking. Now he's off a meat kick. Now he goes through things where he takes a nap every day at 3 o'clock. My mother's working like mad, you know, but he lies down. He's a nice man. But, wow. My mother. Though she tried to keep my father's foot out. She was a nice colored lady. She was of quality. I mean, white folks was proud of her, because she knew her place. And she stayed in it. And she protected me to the day she died. May her soul rest in peace. But nevertheless, I mean, you have these memories. And they'll bring them out of you. If you try to forget, they're going to get to you somehow. So all you have to do is just cleanse your soul and say hallelujah, you know. I escaped them mother grabbers. You go on to the next scene. Scared, oh, scared. I've been scared so many times I ain't even been scared of being scared anymore. I run out of what the hell to be scared of. So I got no more cop out there, you know. My other hang-up was loot. Somebody give me some bread. I want to go on the stage. Well, they've given me so much bread that I haven't gone on the stage that I could be a drunken rage by now, you know. But I'm still cob-knocking and telling myself that, you know, any day now, you know. And I mean that. And I think I can pull it off. But I don't have much time. Oh, speaking of time. Yeah, I understand where it's at. You really got to make up your mind to get it. And you got to pull your buns together and get it. And once you get it, don't quit it. And as a sister of mine says, I'll never tell.
Jason, did you love your mother?
I didn't know her too well. Really. I mean, she and I must have had moments. She taught me how to cook. Yes, she was good to me. Yes, good as gold, yes. Because, you know, once that evil separation of a tribal family like mine of such high Indian prestige, you know, they wouldn't stoop to, you know, like getting out of any squander. But they the ones that started this shit in the first place, you know, because they under old Fay influence, you know. Somebody told them that they were different. Oh, that's so... That was the mistake, you know. So they got, like, black soul with white attitudes. That don't make it. That don't make it. That don't make it at all, you know, if you're gonna be real. And if I'm gonna go, I'm going all the way, you know, or not at all. All the way, all the way, yes, all the way.
That's what you selling, black souls.
Ain't I? And they buying like mothers. But you got to be cool. You can't overdo it. Because they're like any other sucker. They'll keep coming back for more as long as they don't feel that they've been royally fucked. You know, they're gluttons for punishment. And you've got to be hip enough to be able to constantly feed just the necessity to this hunger. how am I doing? Hey, hey, tweet, 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 twat. They don't even call them twats anymore. It's just tweet, tweet, tweet. Eliminate the twat. Your mother's dog did it. The cunt. But how can you say things like that to a nice old broad like your mom? You cunt. I'd love to say it just once. Under the Christmas tree or something.
Jason, did you hate your mother?
Well, I tried to, but then I got pregnant. Mother's the most beautiful people in the world about knowing what's happening. I mean, she will always stand by a boy. And that's why they say a boy that sticks to his mother will never go wrong. My mother was beautiful to me, because when I first started carrying on in the dormitories, I didn't know that the boys' exclusive thing straight up was, you know, I just thought everybody was broad. I don't know what I thought. Well, the trouble with me at that time was I didn't think at all. I was just wild. I was wild, black, and crazy, and I had a white boy fever that was E-I-O-yeah-yeah. And I had a gift to gab, like went along with them Brooks Brothers clothes, and they saw me, you know, like sitting up in their country estates and entertaining and singing that goddamn whiff and puff song and whatever the hell she go through with them. And oh boy, I went through changes with those gorgeous little boys.
I have to talk to you about being fatty.
My mother, just once, what you can do to a mother that can destroy her for once and for all, and you never can face again. All she has to do is see you suck one prick, you know. And nobody can tell her anything else the rest of it. You're a cocksucker. You know. And she thinks you're like her father, so she made a mistake twice. You know, how dumb can a bitch be? And then she's black, too. Oh, God. And I wasn't 12 years old before I knew every lesbian, pimp, whore, bulldagger in town. And I was making some coins from it, plus enjoying myself, you know, and finding out exactly what was happening, you know. And then they look at me and say, you're queer. Oh, the people just don't know, child. They just don't know. There's sometimes... No, when it can get so good to you, you know, you figure, this is my last rope. If I'm going to die, you know, like, what a fucking way to go, you know. And, of course, when you're nervous and guilty and simple like I am, I've been wasting a lot of time lately thinking about, like, I'm gonna kick off, you know, like I ain't gonna be here. And that's ridiculous, because every time I think that shit, that I'm only staying longer, you know. But that's my thing for, like, trying to get away from it. And I keep, I've been dying for years. You know, like, I've died so many of them, you know. And I'm still here. That's luck. But one day that luck is going to run out. And I just want to be straight.
Hey, man, talk about the like the first time you were...
First time I ever was forced to do it. What happens to you when you're first ever forced to do it? I went into one of them places, and I fell out, you know, from being drunk and over anxious to get inside someplace the night before. And the first thing I heard in the morning was a great big black burly cat saying, "Open your eyes and you where your big black ass has led you to be." Ooh, that hurt. That really hurt, you know. I mean, I sat up that morning and I took notice. Phew. Now, if you can cope with that, And you can just about make anything, you know.
How did you feel? Did you cough, man?
Oh, you get in there and you find yourself, how do you feel? Sure you feel. You feel like this is it, you know.
You horny motherfucker?
Stayed that way, you know. You were able to make it just as wild there as if you were paying for it on Park Avenue, you know. Like after a while, you
Dug it.
oh, it was gas, you know. Yes, I really dug it, you know, like it was like a bum's benefit. And in my case, it was quite beneficial, you know, because I experienced things that I'd never had before, you know, like the ones that get off them big trucks and the drums. And oh, good, I had to go through some changes.
What things you never experienced?
Well, like I never dreamt of them ones that really come around there like a lion's roar, you know, could be had. But it's an American dream. So you...
Lice in the bed bug.
Oh, good Lord, yeah. And you get to laying up in these jive joints, you know, and you got to sit on the bed with a newspaper in one hand and a can of Raid It in the other hand, you know. And the minute them mother grabbers start down the stairs, you Raid It, you know, as you hit them. And after a while, this, you know, you say to yourself, what are you doing? You get guilty with, you know, like you figure all your friends you've been going to see. You know, I had a friend once say to me in San Francisco, I've never come and seen you live anywhere. And it just dawned on me that I hadn't, since I left home, really lived anywhere. And that was kind of sad, you know, but shit, I said, fuck it, you know. How am I doing?
You're doing fine, Jason.
Did I goof, Cheryl?
No, man, everything's straight. No sweat.
How'd you get the bread you needed? How'd you get the 75 cents you needed for the bed?
Well, I guess I'd have to get it from him. I go out and have to talk somebody out of it. I would help. I was always willing to work, you know, like I was always good for old ladies in distress or something like that. Or I could spot a good hoe in a minute that noticed she was a generous tipper, you know, and needed some recognition, you know. I could play all the parts, you know. So I had a kind of caught eye peeled for a nickel. And I liked money, and they told me I was cute. I thought I was the ugliest thing in town, but I guess after a while I began to believe it. And you get cute to a certain extent, you know, where you just...
Well, I'm talking about the nickel and dime shit, not being cute.
Nickel and dime. That's when you're out there. You know, they got these gin mills, you know, and they're selling beer in the cartons. And I mean, this is when they were called beer gardens. And the party was going on in the garden. And if you were in the it crowd, you were in the garden, in the party. And in those days, that was the hip place to be, you know. So I spent a lot of time in parties and in gardens, you know. So I became a garden queen. I was hoeing and digging it. And the Johns came easily, those sweet little white boys, you can talk them into anything, you know. And you charge accounts at Saks and Brooks Brothers and and luncheon at the Roosevelt, and they couldn't wait to get on the phone to say, Mother says this room is dark. Send up a few lamps. Down there. This all escapes you for a while, you know. But what really gets next to you is that's how you know it could be. What gets next to you? Yeah, it gets next to you. That you live in some bullshit that really shouldn't exist. But you're saying, fuck it, this is my life, you know. And I am going to swing with it, you know. So shit, hell or high water. I'm the bitch. And this is what I want to do, then motherfucker, do it. you know, and do it and tell it like how you squirmed out of it, how you knocked down cockroaches and how you ate shit, you know, and really enjoyed that too, because all of that was a part of the living up to what you want to be able to say and do right now. Yes, and I think that I'm all right now.
Like it is, man.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah, tell it like it is. I'm a queen for a day. Long after Dinah came Jason. I think Dinah would have liked that. Dinah. Oh, there could have never been anyone finer. This girl had some blues in her heart and soul that didn't just naturally come from Carolina. It came from Dinah Lee. And I tell you, there used to be the times that I was so gasolitical to sit and gaze into the eyes of the Queen's Blaze. Yes, she spoke of many a new daydream to me. She treated me like a person. Oh, she called me bitches and all kinds of dirty names. But that was only her way of telling me how much she loved me. And I realized how fortunate I was to be around such a beautiful woman who was all heart and expression. Yes, the Queen. To the Queen. Dinah. No, there could never be any chick finer. From here
Dinah.
to the state of Carolina.
Reading a song, man.
Oh, God, I love Dinah. I love Dinah. I love you, Richard. I do. You'll see.
Yeah?
Don't trust me, Richard. Don't trust me. 'Cause I'm out to get you. I'm out to hang you, baby. I wanna fuck you up. I really wanna fuck you up so you'll be mine.
Hurt me, do you?
Oh, hell no. Shit, no days, baby. Yeah. Like you and me. With a groovy understanding and all your eggs in one basket, mother.
Now, really try to tell me, son. The last roll film we got.
Bring me bubble.
Bring your ball.
And me roach.
Bring your rope.
Bring along your wares, 'cause you're going to a party, McFarlane. So after a while you say, who gives a shit?
Okay, take a minute.
And you just don't. You tell it like it is. Ooh.
Oh, come on, cute with me. Got a long memory, man.
Did you ever do something real bad?
Oh,
You remember those dirty, rotten
Ugh.
letters you wrote about me to New York?
ooh.
I was laying in the Bowery as a bum. What did you tell those lies for? Why'd you do that to me? Rotten queen.
Oh, I couldn't have been that low. Oh, I didn't. Oh, no.
Just because I wouldn't lend you a few lousy dollars,
Ah, that's where it's at.
you had to pull your usual evil shit.
Oh, Carl,
Possible to
listen
treat
to
you
me.
decent.
Without you, I wouldn't know anything about anything. And if you don't know that I love you,
then, man, you don't know anything
Why'd you try to undo me?
about anything.
Why'd you do that to me, huh?
I guess because I was subconsciously jealous. I figured, why did it always have to be you? And never me. And I did everything I could to please you.
Try to please everybody.
Yes. And that was a mistake, too, because you only got so much energy. And I just spent so much time being a nervous wreck. I guess I never really had any fun at all.
You always waiting to hurt people.
I was, yeah, the vicious cunt, always there. Thought I was sharp with the buck. Do you know how much that hurts? It only hurts when you think of it. And if you're real, you'll think of it a long, long time. That's for sure. Those are the dues. And face it.
Is that why you won't talk to Carmen now?
Right. But we kissed and made up last week, and I hope it's not too soon. Because if I blow again, there goes my last groovy friend.
What'd you do to blow it before? Fuck her around?
Oh, yes, I just wouldn't cooperate, and I would get drunk and be ridiculous, and I'm kind of like a real male bitch. But we all get our chances to go through that. But as Carmen always was very lenient, you know. I gotta give broad credit. Carmen is an exceptional woman. Carmen says everybody's full of shit to a certain extent, but you know where to draw the line, you know. And I would always forget where to draw the line. And then Carmen would have to put a foot in my ass. You know, she'd say, bitch, I tell you to straighten up.
What's gonna happen if you blow her again?
I blew her. And I suffered. Oh, your mother suffered. Every good friend of ours, including Carl and Richie Kamoko, Betty, Willie Bobo. People that know that I really love these people and that I have, like, made a boo-boo. But I'm trying.
You lonely?
Lonely, I'm desperate, but I'm cool.
Should be lonely.
Yeah, I should suffer. I should suffer because I have no rights.
You're not suffering.
Who says I'm suffering? The welfare's paying.
God, how'd you come to welfare isn't paying?
I declared insanity. I said I was sick. Oh, you won't believe this. A sick queen. From foraging descent. How foraging could you be, you know? That's just the foraging it would take for the check to descent here. That went over big. See. And then I got weak, and I was humble, and I needed sympathy. Thank you.
What do you mean by humble?
Well, I was phony. That's what humble means. Right? Especially when you look at a colored boy and say you're humble. Who's any prettier than the white of Carl's eyes? And if I can't lie or tell the truth to Carl, I can't tell it to anyone. Well, that's showbiz.
That's why you ain't in it too much. Because you're full of shit.
Well, teach me tonight. I've been begging you to teach me.
Bullshit.
You can
Honest?
teach me.
Honest.
You can teach me.
Be honest, motherfucker. Stop that acting, will you? Shit. Goddamn lying.
You're right again.
Damn right, man. Stop it, will you? Right, man. He's just full of shit, man. That's all.
Oh, shut up. Oh, Robert, I love you. Oh, and I want you.
Jason Holiday.
You better say that again.
I said it again.
And smile.
That's why you're full of shit.
I beg your pardon.
Man, you're the most.
Well, now you hip. Now I gotta cope with your ass.
Yeah.
I thought you were just gonna be gratis. Oh, thanks a lot. Well, then I'll kiss your ass any day at Macy's window. At high noon, Queen. Marlon Brando jacket and all.
Think I'd let you?
How could you resist? Oh, let's bitch about it a little
I
while.
don't want no part of you, man. You fucking nasty bitch.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, especially a man.
You're blowing your own thing, Jason. You hear me, bitch. You're blowing your own thing. A lot of fucking bread. You ain't gonna get another chance.
Tell me where to stop, Carl.
You gonna get another chance.
Tell me where to stop, Carl.
You have one time.
I felt it.
Watch, man.
Nobody's business now but my own.
Can't cut it.
No more to say?
Ain't had nothing to say yet.
That's the drag.
Truth.
That's the beautiful truth. But still, it's the truth, Carl.
Your game.
And that's the basis of something.
Your game, baby.
Stick with me, Carl.
Fuck you.
Oh, you do? Oh, thanks a lot. Oh, all I need now is to have an orgasm.
Let's see you.
See you?
Let's see you having an orgasm.
Thanks a lot, Marvin.
Fine, fine, fine. Very good. I think we've all had it, huh?
Fine. Oh, that was beautiful. I'm happy about the whole thing.
Good. That's nice. The end. The end, the end, the end. The end. That's it. It's over. The end.